Good day, future educators. Welcome to another video of our Ma'am Astrid's classroom. Today we are going to talk briefly about teacher-made tests, the meaning, features, and uses. We will also be talking about standardized test. Okay, so first, let us look into the definition of a standardized test. If we say standardized test, we mean that it is any form of tests that, number one, requires all test takers to answer the same question or a selection of questions from common bank of questions in the same way, and that it is recorded in a standard or consistent manner, which makes it possible to compare the relative performance of individual students or group of students. Standardized tests may be used for a wide variety of educational purposes. For example, they may be used to determine a young child's readiness for a kindergarten, identify students who need special education services or specialized academic support, place a student in different academic programs or course levels, or award diplomas and other educational certificates. Examples of standardized test is achievement test. If you say achievement test, it is backward looking. These are designed to measure the knowledge and skills of students to determine the academic progress they have made over a period of time. The tests may also be used to evaluate the effectiveness of a school and teacher, or identify the appropriate academic placement of a student, what course or program may be deemed most suitable for what forms of academic support they may need. So, that's why achievement test is called backward looking. Another example is the aptitude tests. As aptitude tests attempt to predict. Kung kanina, pabaliktad, di ba? Backward. Aptitude tests, it predicts a student's ability to succeed in an intellectual or physical endeavor by, for example, evaluating the mathematical ability, language proficiency, abstract reasoning, we have motor coordination or musical talent. So aptitude tests are forward-looking in that they typically attempt to forecast or predict how well students will do in the future educational or career setting. So that is aptitude test. Another one, we have college admission tests. So you all have undergone college admission tests, right? So these are used to the process of deciding which students will be admitted to a collegiate program. While there is a great deal of debate about this or the accuracy and utility of the college admission tests, the tests are used as indicators of intellectual and academic potential, and some may consider them predictive of how well an applicant will do in a post-secondary program. So, it will admit you, it will tell, okay, it will judge whether what course are you going to enroll, okay, when you enter college, since every institution has their own cutoff of every course that they are offering. Another one, we have international comparison tests. These are administered periodically to representative samples of students in number of countries. So, for the purposes of monitoring the achievement trends in individual countries and, of course, comparing international performance across countries. Okay, so that's called international comparison tests. And the last one, we have the psychological tests. Psychological tests, including IQ tests, are used to measure a person's cognitive ability and mental, emotional, developmental, and social characteristics. trained professionals such as school psychologists. They are typically the one who administers the test, which may require students to perform a series of tasks or solve a set of problems. Psychological tests are often used to identify students with learning disabilities or other special needs that would qualify them for specialized services. So, these are the examples of what you call standardized tests, which are used for a wide variety of educational purposes. While if we say teacher-made tests, these are normally prepared and administered for testing classroom achievement of students, evaluating the method of teaching adopted by the teacher and other curricular programs of the school. I would like to repeat this part. Teacher-made tests are normally prepared and administered for testing the classroom achievement of the students. So, this from the term alone, teacher-made tests, these are being designed by the teacher purposely to look into the achievement of every student, to evaluate the method that she used, if it were effective or not. Okay. Teacher-made tests is one of the most valuable instruments in the hands of the teacher to solve his purpose. It is designed to solve the problem or requirements of the class for which it is prepared. Okay. It is prepared to measure the outcomes and content of local curriculum. It is very much flexible so that it can be adapted to any procedure and material. It does not require any sophisticated technique for preparation, for as long as it is made in order to measure the ability or the learnings of the students, and of course it should comply with the objectives earlier planned by the teacher. So, what are the similarities of both the standardized and the teacher-made tests? Carefully constructed teacher-made tests and standardized tests are similar in many ways. So, number one, both are constructed on basis of carefully planned table of specifications. Both have the same type of test items, and both provide clear directions to students. So, they are similar in this way. However, still, the two differ. They differ in the quality of test items, the reliability of test measures, the procedures for administering and scoring, and the interpretation of scores. No doubt, standardized tests are good and better in quality, more reliable, and valid. But a classroom teacher cannot always depend on standardized tests. That is why it is said that the teacher-made test is better and good in quality, more reliable, and valid. Because it is designed specifically for that certain group of students. Since a standardized test is worldwide, it is widely given, the exam, not only on that specific group of students that you are teaching. Okay, so it says here that the classroom teacher cannot always depend on standardized tests. These may not suit to his local needs, may not be readily available, may be costly, may have different objectives. In order to fulfill the immediate requirements, the teacher has to prepare his own tests, which are usually objective type in nature. Okay, that's it. Let us look into the steps or the principles of test construction of teacher-made test. So, in everything we do, of course, the first step is planning. This includes the following specific steps. 1. determining the purpose and objectives of the tests, as what to measure and why to measure. Ano ang kailangan mong i-measure at bakit kinakailangan ito? It is very important since the purpose and objectives will guide you, will limit you as to what type, the content, and nature of assessment you are going to prepare. Next one, deciding the length of the tests and portion of the syllabus to be covered. Be careful in deciding the type of exam and its length. It should cover the specific lessons with reasonable length for students to cope with the prepared examination. Next one, specifying the objectives in behavioral terms. If needed, a table can even be prepared for specifications and weight given to the objectives to be measured. So, of course, we are always required to make table of specifications if we are going to design tests, items, okay? Next one, deciding the number of forms of items according to your lesson plan. Okay, so you have to stick to it so that the objective will be achieved. Next one, having a clear knowledge and understanding of the principles of constructing different types of tests like essay type, short answer type, and objective type questions. Be sure to apply the principles of test construction in every time or in every type of the tests you are going to prepare. Remember that. Next one, deciding date of testing. This is very much needed and should be given in an advance so that advance time to the students and the teachers so that the teacher have enough time for test preparation and administration. So, deciding the date of the testing. And last one, seeking the cooperation and suggestion of co-teachers, experienced teachers, and other schools and tests experts. This means that we can always ask for assistance from our colleague, especially if we are aware that there is someone, who has a better skill in that specific area. Okay. Second is preparation of the test items. And it says here that planning is the philosophical aspect and preparation is the practical aspect of test construction. Different types of objective test items, multiple choice, short answer type, and matching type can be constructed in this part. No? So, remember, always put in mind that test preparation is an art. It is also a technique. So, it is both an art and a technique. Thus, all practical aspects shall be taken into consideration while one constructs the test. It requires much thinking, rethinking, and reading before constructing test items. Remember, you are considering many factors here. Your students, the lessons that you have already taught, okay, the designing of the test items, the table of specifications, etc., etc. The suggestions may be sought even from others on languages, modalities of the items, statements given, correct answers supplied, and on other possible errors anticipated. Meaning, you can always ask help from others or suggestions from others so that you will improve the test items that you have already constructed. And then, you can learn from them, from the experts or your colleague, if those test items that you have prepared are acceptable and usable. So, after construction of the tests, items should be arranged in simple to complex order. Okay, you know this because you have learned already about the test construction, right? So, for arranging the items, a teacher can adapt so many methods. Okay, so, pwedeng kanya-kanyang method na ito ng teacher kung ano yung gagawin niya. Scoring key should also be prepared to avoid further delay of scoring. So, if you are making a test, dapat meron ka ng key answers. Okay. What is the use of this? So that when you score or check the papers, you have readily available a list of correct answers. para madali. Kaysa, pati ikaw, para kang nag-e-exam after nung nagpa-exam ka. When you're going to check the papers of your students, then you need to undergo the test items because you did not prepare the answers key. Okay, so another one that you have to consider here is giving the direction, no? Panuto. So, direction is an important part of a test construction. Without giving a proper direction or instruction, there will be a probability of losing the authenticity and reliability of the test. It may create a misunderstanding in the students, which may lead to low scores. Thus, the direction should be simple and adequate to ensure the students to know the time for completion of the tests, the mark allotted to each item, required number of items to be attempted, how and where to score the answer, and the materials like graph, papers, or others. So, in giving directions, be sure that you are specific. There should be adequate information so that the students will no longer ask questions about it. So, tell them, is the items times 2 when they gonna mark? What should they do? Are they going to write true, or just write the letter T if the statement is true? So, sort like that. Okay. Next one. What are the uses of teacher-made tests? Okay, let us look fastly, no? Mabilisan yung mga sumusunod na gamit ng teacher-made test. Number 1, to help a teacher to know whether the class in normal, average, above average, or below average. Next one, to help him in formulating new strategies for teaching and learning. Next one, a teacher-made test may be used as a full-fledged achievement test which covers the entire course of the subject. Okay. And to measure students' academic achievement in a given course. We also have next one, to assess how far specified instructional objectives have been achieved. That is why I was telling a while back that in constructing your test items, be sure that you are also assessing the instructional objectives that you have set before delivering your lesson. Okay. To know the efficacy of learning experiences, to diagnose students' learning difficulties, and to suggest necessary remedial measures. So, if the students got low in this certain topic, in this certain type of test, then what will you do? So, you gonna design some remedial measures, right? And to certify, classify, or grade the students on the basis of resulting scores. So, whatever the scores that the students will get, that would be reflected in your class record. It will be the basis of grading them. And the last one is skillfully prepared teacher-made test can serve the purpose of a standardized test. Okay. Oh, we still have a lot. Next one, we have teacher-made tests can help a teacher to render guidance and counseling, especially if the test results reflects that the same students are getting low scores. Okay. Another one. Good teacher-made tests can be exchanged among neighboring schools. That's good. Next one. These tests can be used as a tool for formative, diagnostic, and summative evaluation, and to assess students' growth in different areas. Okay. Teacher-designed tests offer clear advantages. So, these are the advantages of a teacher-made test. No? Number 1, they are better aligned with classroom objectives. This is what I'm telling you a while back, no? When constructing your test items, it should be aligned with the classroom objectives, no? Another one, they present consistent evaluation materials having the same questions for all the students in the class. Okay, so that you will determine the extent of their understanding in a specific lesson. Next one, they are easy to score and offer accessible material for parents to consult. And they are easy to administer. So, that's the teacher-made tests. Now, let us talk fastly about the non-test in assessment learning. If we say non-tests in an assessment learning, it is an alternative assessment in the sense that it diverts from the paper and pen tests. It also refers to tests that do not force the students to give their responses. That is according to RICO in 2011. Another definition, non-test assessment also refer to formative assessment, which is an ongoing process to give feedback to students to increase their competence. So, what are type of non-tests? No? Let us try to look into some examples that I have included here so that you could imagine the non-test that we are talking about. Okay. Number one, we have portfolio. So, since high school, you are making portfolio, or maybe even when you were in elementary. So, what is a portfolio? A portfolio is a purposeful collection of students' work that exhibit the students' efforts, progress, and achievements in one or more areas of curriculum. So, your development in that certain subject, you are going to put it in a portfolio. Okay, parang summary ito ng yung progress, yung effort mo, yung achievement mo, yung natutunan mo sa isang course or isang subject. Number one, we have teacher observation. The teacher observes the students while they work to make certain the students understand the assignment and are on task. Okay, so an example of teacher observation activity is the cooperative learning. Okay, so give them an activity and observe whether they have understand something on certain topic that you have already discussed. Another example is the journal. So in here, students write daily on assigned or personal topics. Okay, so example activity, specific activity. What is the thing you remember about yesterday's lesson? So they are going to scribble it in their journal. It is also another way for them to retain and recall the topics that were already discussed to them. Okay, we have slates or hand signals. Students use slates or hand signals as a means of signaling answers to the teacher. Okay, so review lessons. Like they write answers and hold up a slate. Okay. Another one, games. So we do this in the classroom. Teachers utilize fun activities to have students practice and review concepts. So if we use games in the classroom, be sure that these activities aside from they are fun, will practice and review the concepts, no? Of that certain lesson. Hindi yung basta ka na lang nagpapalaro. So, the best example here is of course the science trivia. Another one, we have debates. The students take opposing positions on a topic and defend their positions. Okay, so the pros and cons of like mining, okay, the constitutional amendments, etc., etc. So, the students will take their positions and then they're gonna defend the positions that they have chosen. Okay. Projects, of course, we are giving this one also. From elementary to college, we are requiring some projects. However, iba naman yung ginagawa sa elementary, no, na sabing, anong project natin? Sasabihin nila na, uy, magdala tayo ng isang soft broom. Yun yung project natin. This is not a project that I'm talking about. Okay? So, if it's a project in the non-test, the students research a topic and present it in a creative way. Okay? That's it. We have demonstrations. Demonstrations, students present a visual enactment of a particular skill or activity. Example activity is proving that air has weight. Okay. And of course, we have discussions. Okay. Students in class verbally interact on a given topic. You know, students are good at it, actually. When it was face-to-face and I was still teaching in an actual classroom, I have observed that if you give students the freedom to discuss a certain topic, makikita mo talaga na ang gagaling nila. Okay. Mapipiga mo yung kakayahan nila. So, give them a topic and then let them discuss and observe them. No? So, example of topics, climate change, no? Election, etc., etc. So, give them a certain topic and then give them a little freedom. And then you will find out that these students are bright. Aside from this, we have also cartooning, models, notes, problem solving, and many more. Okay, so these are some types of, or the most used in the classroom, most used types of Nontest. So it is an alternative also, no, for a teacher in order to what? In order to come up with the decision of to what topic you need to rediscuss, okay? Or this is also the best way to observe your students' weaknesses and their strengths, no? Because not all students are good in written exams, no? So why not try to use this Nontest also in your classroom? Okay. For inquiries, if you have some questions, you may reach me through the following platforms. Our official FB account is Astrid's Classroom. Our official IG account is at Ma'am Astrid. Twitter account at rmmoonchildph. And of course, we have our YouTube account where we upload the students' performances. Okay, and then we upload also the lectures in that certain YouTube channel. We have Ma'am Astrid Classroom. Okay. Until next lecture, laging tandaan na sa ating classroom, lahat ay matututo kahit na magkakalayo. Thank you so much. I'll see you next video. Bye-bye!